What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash, BCH USD. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Here we are on this, the second day of August. 8 hours, 46 minutes left in this day and this week. $212 is the price. Moving up. We're consolidating. We've been moving sideways for a little while now. I suspect Bitcoin Cash will be range bound, more or less range bound, for the months ahead. Bitcoin typically, whenever it sees the end of its bear market, whenever that is, the low comes in, typically it consolidates for months before moving up, and it probably won't even move up that much, right? We're going to have a very slow and low, boring time for the foreseeable future. For the coming months and probably the whole entire next 365 days, the whole next year, if not a predominant part of that. If Bitcoin's being boring, it's not that Bitcoin Cash has to be boring. It can do exciting things in the meantime. But if Bitcoin's being boring, I would assume most of the coins in the top 100 are also going to be boring as well. Bitcoin Cash, I believe, is offering a phenomenal opportunity here at $212. If you're in the same camp of belief as I am with Bitcoin Cash, then you would understand that this is tremendously undervalued. Tremendously undervalued. Bitcoin Cash, its whole life, has basically just been moving sideways. Right? We've been moving sideways its whole entire existence. And we are at the lower ends of this sideways kind of range. My expectation is that during the next cycle, we will break this chain of lower highs that we've established throughout Bitcoin Cash's life. We'll break through this, and we will even see new all-time highs altogether. My suspicion is we won't stop at brand new all-time highs. We won't just stop right here above this level, but that we will excel through it. We will exceed levels far beyond $4,300 and see something around 13,000 or more. Being here at $212, it's such a blessing, it's such a gift, because from here to there, that is a 62x at a minimum. That's the minimum expectation that we have. Yes, this should sound familiar because this was the expectation we had during the last cycle as well. Last cycle was kind of a dud for Bitcoin Cash, for most cryptos out there. It really was a dud. I'm not expecting this cycle to be a dud. In all fairness, I didn't expect the last one to be a dud, but we're not in the bull market yet. Whenever I say this cycle, I mean this coming bull cycle. This is years in the making. Okay, we've got, look at your watch right now. Add 2 years to it. Probably 2 years from now, this is when these things will come to light. Maybe 3 years from now. It's going to be some time, okay? But within the next 2 to 3 years, that is my suspicion that we will see a $13,000 or more price. And from this price again of 200 and I have it at 209, but I'm trying to get it at 212. Whatever, it's not. Whatever, 217. From 217 and below, you've got 62x or more potential at that minimum target, multi-100x potential if we were to see a $53,000 market cap. I don't know if I believe we'll see 53,000. I accept it as a possibility. I wouldn't bet against it, but I'm not going to bet on it. I wouldn't be surprised if we got above 13,000 though, and we see something in this 20K range. Bitcoin, whenever it was down in this kind of price area in its first pass, BTC, whenever it first grew to these levels, it did stop at 20K, and that's kind of my thesis, is that we'll see a similar kind of mimicked response from that 20K area. Maybe we go a little bit through it to add some euphoria, to add some excitement. Bitcoin didn't even break through 20K. It stopped at like 19,900, 19,800. This is so much more bullish. And we're going to go to 50K. We're going to go to 100K. And then right then and there, that's whenever we sell off. I don't know. But I do assume Bitcoin Cash has a very promising future ahead of it. I think that the BCH BTC chart, as beat up as it is throughout its whole existence, it's also, what's the word I want to use? Interesting. It's showing some signs, some signals of accumulation. We're getting this rounded bottom formation here, this frying pan saucer pattern. It's the beginning of it, before the turn, before the upside comes in. And this can take a long time, guys. It has taken a long time. Really, we've been slowing down this dropping. We've been slowing down for years now, for like 6 years and beyond then. It could be another 6 years before we really start to turn up to the upside here. I still expect that we're going to see signals we're going to see an uptrend form in this next bull market. I think that Bitcoin Cash versus BTC will, just like its US dollar pair, have its first higher macro highs ever in its existence. I think we will see that, but how high will this macro high go? And again, I think no matter how high it goes, we're going to be following this kind of parabolic structure that we're in the midst of right now, if we have this, if we're assuming correctly. It's a very interesting chart. Most coins versus Bitcoin, once they enter this downtrend, they stay in it. They don't break out of it. This really does. I don't care what you think of Bitcoin Cash or not. If you just look at this and you're assuming that this is a stock, this is Amazon. I don't know. This is whatever. It's a it's a brand new stock. It just came out. It's sold off, but now you're seeing this type of behavior. Something's going on, man. Something's going on. It's long-term accumulation. It's at least worth speculating on to see some type of retracement here. And again, whatever kind of growth that we see in this chart versus Bitcoin will be amplified in the US dollar pairing. So I mean, from here, if we were to see a 382 retracement, that's a 6x versus Bitcoin. That will be amplified versus the US dollar. Why? Because Bitcoin will also grow in value. So if we're growing versus Bitcoin and Bitcoin's growing in value, imagine Bitcoin sees a 10x, but we see a 6x more than that. And it wouldn't be 6x more than that. That's not how the math works out necessarily, but I'm just saying crazy, crazy potential. And we could stop at the 382. It's a very common thing to do. Maybe that's where we stop. That's our end of cycle next rally. And then we rally up to the golden ratio. Maybe we go all the way up to the golden ratio here and we just see a robust fire coming under Bitcoin Cash's butt here. I don't know. But I do believe that we're going to see tremendous growth one way or another, 13K, 53K, somewhere in that range by the end of this next cycle. And this is where you start to sow those seeds. This is where it's a good time to DCA. There will be plenty of opportunities, tradable opportunities along the way. I expect Bitcoin Cash is going to be boring here going into a good bit of 2027. I expect that we're going to see some boring sideways price action, much like we did here, much like we did here. It'll be boring for a time. We've only been down here now for 2 months. Even at these low ends, we were down here for over a quarter of a year, let alone this sideways phase, let alone this sideways phase, which both lasted over a year. It could be some time, and I mean, we were in this sideways phase for a long time. And in that time, there will be plenty of tradable moments. But if you're setting yourself up for the long term, if you're buying and holding, I truly believe Bitcoin Cash is going to do something exceptional. All it takes is conviction. And to build that conviction, you need to do something different in the chart. We were so close, man. We were so close. We had the most spectacular setup, I think, ever. And it just didn't happen. We can go over why it didn't happen, why we didn't break out. I think really the main reason for that is that Bitcoin and the crypto markets as a whole were just sad. They just weren't. We were in that end of cycle finale phase, and there was no finale. We just rounded off our top for Bitcoin and various other cryptos. There was no alt season. It was just very low interest in crypto. There's more interest in stocks and commodities and stuff like that. Not so much in crypto. All the people who are interested in crypto, they were already in. Whenever everybody's already in, that only leaves really room to go down. I don't know. There could be other reasons too. But we had a very phenomenal opportunity here. It didn't happen, unfortunately. Doesn't mean that it can't happen again. If we move up and we see higher highs for once, we get above this last cycle's high, we get above this cycle's high, let alone if we see new all-time highs, things start to shift, okay? Things start to shift. Again, this is the US dollar pair. The BCH-BTC pair, if this grows, BCH-BTC will also grow. So there's going to be significance in both of those charts. People who pay attention to these things, people with brains, people who are sophisticated speculators, are going to be paying attention to this and seeing the opportunity that presents it, right? This is clearly proving that it's not just some one-off random scam hard fork of Bitcoin. I think it's already proven that, right? It's maintained itself in the top 20, the top 30 for most of its life, even here multiple cycles down the line. Most cryptos, once they see a lower high cycle over cycle, that's it. That's the death sentence. But this thing's seen higher lows as well, cycle over cycle. It's been consolidating. It's a sleeper. It's dormant. And it is better than Bitcoin. Everybody has their own philosophies, and everybody's entitled to their own philosophies. Some people think Bitcoin needs to be produced the way that it is, and that it shouldn't be changed. It just shouldn't be changed. It should be left alone. It shouldn't be updated. It should just be left as it is, never be updated, and it should do that. If that's the case, Bitcoin will get outperformed. as far as technical advancements go. It'll become obsolete. It already is obsolete, but it'll never shift with the times. And especially for quantum computing and stuff like that, as far as like security risks go, I think that upgrades are necessary. Bitcoin Cash, the main reason why Bitcoin Cash hard forked is because of the block size that was being updated. And I don't know all the details, but I'm fairly positive Satoshi himself even acknowledged that the block sizes would probably have to be adjusted as time went on. Bitcoin Cash, again, just ask your favorite AI what adheres more to Satoshi's white paper, Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin is not Bitcoin, BTC. And that hurts a lot of Maxis' ears. That hurts a lot of OGs and crypto's ears, but it's not Bitcoin. And the reason why we know this is because on the white paper that Satoshi made, it says Bitcoin peer-to-peer electronic cash, right? Let's see. Let's actually look it up. It's been a while. Hold on. Satoshi's Bitcoin white paper. A peer-to-peer electronic cash system. That's what it is. That's not Bitcoin. It's a peer-to-peer electronic digital store of value system is what it is. It's an electronic store of value coin. That's what everybody refers to it as. That's how it's been embraced. If you ask people to define Bitcoin, would they say it's digital cash or a store of value? Is it, which one is it? They're going to say it's a store of value. And it is. And that's great. That's awesome. There can be a store of value coin. There can also be electronic cash coin. Which one's more valuable? I don't know. They can both. The electronic cash is valuable in its own right. Store of value is valuable in its own right too. Maybe one has a higher market cap, but that doesn't deplete the value of the other necessarily. At any rate, because Bitcoin has become store of value coin, that leaves the door open for what Satoshi originally endeavored, what he originally designed, which is the electronic peer-to-peer cash system, and that's Bitcoin Cash. It's the next in line as far as like what the right of succession would be. It's the only coin that has the same upbringing as Bitcoin itself. Its genesis block is literally shared. It's one of the only, I think the only proof of work coins out there that is actually secure. You try to start a proof of work coin, they can get 51% attacked. People can abuse those and take advantage of them, man. And Bitcoin Cash is big enough at this point where it's not that it can't be messed with. It's just it would take a lot of money, and it would, you might put a target on your back doing that, because that kind of stuff is traceable. I don't know. And maybe there's ways to do it that are untraceable, but it hasn't happened yet. Anyways, all I'm trying to say is the higher the Bitcoin Cash grows, the more secure it will get, right? The higher the hash rate, the more miners come online, the more secure it will get. And it's already very secure as it is right now. But I'm getting away from the point that there's this Bitcoin literally stepped down from peer-to-peer electronic cash, Satoshi's original vision. I say vision, that gets the BSV people all riled up. But I don't. It's not that I don't think BSV is a good project. I think that it had its chance, but I think that it foiled it. I don't think that it's. I don't know. Maybe BSV has a chance too, but Bitcoin Cash, I think, is the rightful heir to this throne of a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. It's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin's store of value coin, which is great. That's valuable. That's tremendously valuable. Bitcoin Cash has some of those properties in it. Bitcoin has some of Bitcoin Cash's properties in it. Of course, they're a hard fork. They're twins. Of course they are. Again, people think of Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin is this like linear line, and Bitcoin Cash popped off of it. But no, they both popped from each other. They were both part of the same branch, and they both went their separate ways. That's how it was. Bitcoin just kept the name. But anyways, I'm saying things we all already know, we're already aware of. Whenever Bitcoin Cash moves up, whenever it sees new all-time highs, people will start to realize that they've been thinking about this all wrong. Oh, it hasn't been moving down all this time. It was actually just consolidating this whole time. And when this pops after multiple bear markets, and I don't know if I'd call this a bear market, and multiple bull markets of consolidation, the idea is going to be that this breakout move will be tremendous. It will be tremendous. And once it sees new all-time highs, I truly believe we'll see $13,000 at a minimum. Anyways, I'm done talking. I meant to do more short-term stuff, so let's at least finish with that. But I was just feeling a preachy mood, I guess, today. 4-hour time frame, looking at this on the RSI, very neutral, kind of bearish, if I'm being honest. It looks kind of bearish. Stochastics look bullish. The MACD is also kind of bearish. Actually, with the bullish, there's a little bit of bullishness going on, though, guys. Rejecting the zero, rejecting the zero, rejecting it. You're getting lesser and lesser on these rejections each time. I don't know. Maybe it's not bullish. It's just choppy and sideways, so it's hard to read. Stochastics and the MACD, they're less reliable when you're in these kind of environments. So maybe we'll just stick with the RSI. The daily time frame here is also kind of choppy and sideways. RSI is taking on a bit of a bullish shape. Stochastics look bullish here. And the MACD, while being below the zero, while being red here, you actually do look bullish as well, because this looks like a rejection that's not really rejecting. We're about to cross green here. That would be nice. If we can break through the zero, I would assume fairly confidently that Bitcoin Cash would run up and see prices somewhere around this $300 level where this knot is. And then also, if we zoom out, we take our high to low here. It's right at our 382 level as well. So right there, $300 psychological resistance, 382 Fibonacci resistance, and then the knot right there from a price point of resistance as well. Something in that area. That's where I expect we're going to go if we behave well, if we start to see some strength come in over the coming days and weeks ahead. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. The main thought of this video, I suppose, would be to just set yourself up for the future. Imagine you had a chance to buy Bitcoin at $212, right? Because that's effectively what's going on here. You have a tremendous opportunity. Phenomenal opportunity. Everybody, it just takes recognition. That's all it is. All the framework is there. The community is there. The hodlers are there. The fundamentals are there. Everything's there, man. All it takes is for people to see it. And unfortunately, a lot of these people that think they're in it for the tech and they're not in it for the price action, they're really just in it for the price action. Mark my words. Whenever this thing starts to turn up, there's going to be a lot of people who all of a sudden are into Bitcoin Cash for the tech. All of a sudden, right? And maybe they will get into it for the tech, but they're not considering the tech. They're not considering it here. They've written it off. It's going to take the price action for this thing to put this thing on the map, and that will come with time. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.